Well, good morning, sorry friends. It's Mitty Man coming at you again from Walker's Music. Yet another word for today. Sunday morning edition. We thank God for life, health, and strength. We give Him all the praise, people. And we thank God for all you cyber friends. You know who you are. Still got you lifted up in prayer. Mitty Man has made a commitment that he's going to try to stick to pray for the ones in my circle and out of my circle. We're going to try to pray for the well-being, that God will continue to bless each and every one of you and keep all of His angels of protection around you. We got going to my church service this morning, my home church. We got just a regular day today, and those are the days I really like, just to have a regular worship service and no whistles and bells and all that. Just have regular worship service, have a good time, and seek the Lord in prayer and worship and praise. No bells and whistles, just pure worship. And we got Sunday school this morning, and talking about reliable promises. Reliable. That's the main thing, reliable. We got so many people now that we sometimes what we say and what we do is two different things. It's just as far as the East is from the West. And the thing of it is, people, that we are human. And I realize that many man, I don't have time in my hand. I don't have it in, I don't have it. I don't have time in control. In other words, I don't even have my own life in my hand. So therefore, I try not to make no promises to no one, because we may not be able to keep them. But your word, there used to be a time when a man or a woman, when their word was their bond. In other words, if they told you something, you could count on it. To every ounce of their being, they would try to do what they say, realizing that we don't have time in our hand, but we could at least try to keep what we say. In other words, if I tell you something, I'm going to do my best, utmost, to do exactly what I said I was going to do. I'm not going to tell you this one thing and then do something else, knowing all the time that I don't have any intention of doing it. But see, we got a plethora of people in this day and time that we often sometimes we put our foot in our mouth. We may not mean any harm by it, but just remember that be careful how you make all these promises to people when you don't, especially when you know you don't have most of the time the resources. Sometimes you're not in the right position to make certain promises. So you got to make certain that when you do tell a person or give a person your word, you make certain that you absolutely do your very, very best to keep that. And then if you can't do it, explain to the person. Just don't take it for granted. You know, I'm going to say this. We got a lot of people these days and time that, I mean, they won't even do common courtesy things. That's like, it's just business. It's just good business to when you tell a person, okay, if you give a person a phone call, something simple that, well, let's go on and get with the technology of the day. You got so many ways, we got so many ways that we can communicate with each other these days and time. We got the text messaging, we got Facebook, Twitter, and tweet this, as well as the regular old-fashioned just pick up the phone and call the person. But you know, people will not even do as much as communicate. Don't you know, if I called you, I mean really, if I called you, don't you realize that I may have wanted something? People these days in time got all the kind of communication stuff, and they won't even take the time out if you give them a text or whatnot, they just assume that they know it. You know, I don't understand that, but that just going to show you what time we're living in. Who that you can really rely on to be just be real. Just be. I try my best. God knows I try my best. If a person asks me something, whatever it may be, I try to give them an answer to the best of my ability. Now, I may not know the answer right away or whatnot, but I will try, well, at least I'll respond to let you know, well, look, I'll look into it. And then again, you know, a lot of times, but you see, people, let me tell you something. You reap what you sow. Just as you treat me, I may not do it to you, but somebody else is. You're going to reap what you sow. In other words, how can you be so surprised when somebody treats you a certain way when you have done the same thing? That's them seeds you plant. So in other words, this is what the Sunday school lesson is sort of about this morning. Not just necessarily that to a degree, but it's related. Reliable promises. You should be able to count on a person's word. Your word should be your bond. If I can't count on what you say, I can't count on you, period. And you can't count on me either. So the best thing for us to do is just, if you're not knowing it, going into the game, you know you're not going to do a thing. You might as well just hush. Just be quiet. Don't say it. At least won't nobody be expecting anything. But you know, like I said, we got people nowadays, you really don't know who you can really count on. And sometimes it's just best to just hush. Just don't even, because once you start putting certain people up, I heard T.D. Jakes say that. When you start, some people can't take a compliment. Some people can't, once you start bragging on them, they'll fail you every time, just about it look like. And it shouldn't be that way, I hope not. But we're going to still say we're going to give God the praise. And we give God the glory, we lift every, we all fall subject to the same situation at times. We all can get wrong, and we all do get wrong at times. But I'm just saying it's just a life experience of some things that I went through in my life that I look back on them, and that's why I try not to make those same mistakes over again. There's some things that I would never try to do anymore. I would hope I wouldn't do them anymore, but I would not know until I'm faced with that situation. But we try to follow the Spirit and let the Spirit be our guide. Then we know we got an assurance that we will be okay as long as we're led by the Spirit. But I'm gonna tell you something, Spirit-led people. If you're not careful, you better be careful how we try to put ourselves up so much so we are quote unquote super spiritual. You'll find yourself being tripped up because you done got into pride then. Don't ever get into pride. We are nothing without Christ. Point blank. So that's what I'm looking at this morning, this here Sunday school lesson. I'm not more likely going to teach, but I'm going to be a student this morning. And I always like to be prepared. See, in other words, whatever question arises that someone asks me, I want to have an answer to it. But that's how come I was sitting here this morning early, going over the Sunday school lesson, even though I'm not teaching. See, you don't have to teach all the time. Sometimes you need to be taught. In other words, and then sometimes we just need to sit and listen. In other words, we just thank God for this day, and we thank God for each and every one of you, and hopefully we'll be back with the Bible study on Tuesday night. Got a hot subject on Tuesday night. We are continuing. For the last 3 weeks, we've been dealing with the reaping what you sow. We got some interesting things that we're going to try to bring out on Tuesday night if the Lord says so. So those of you that are able to, you might want to drop by Walker's Music and check out the schedule. Go by Blog Talk Radio, look for Mitty Man, and get in on this Bible study if you can. With that said, Mitty Man going to go on and sign off now. We'll be leaving here after a while, going to my home church. It's the fourth Sunday. We have pastoral today, second and fourth Sunday. So if any of you ain't got anything to do, you got some time on your hand, drop on by there in y'all Missionary Baptist Church, Cuthbert, Georgia. We'll be glad to have you. It's Mitty Man saying peace. Our pastor is Donnie Green Sr. Donnie Green Sr. And like I always say, if God ain't in it, it's best that we come out of it. And I'm going to say it again. If God is not in it, you better get out of it if you don't want to be in a mess. This is Mitty Man saying till the next Bible study, next video, whichever come first. Peace. Good day.